Well, the next president short on specifics in that speech, but we're learning about the broad strokes of his plan. What does it mean for you and your money? Joining us now, Pat Toomey, the president of the economic organization, the Club for Growth. Pat, there's been a lot of oohing and awing about this hundreds of billions of dollars worth of stimulus plan that the next president is putting forward. You have been quoted as calling it ridiculous. Why?
I think there's a real chance it's going to do more harm than good, John. The fact is, most of this is about new government spending, and governments can't spend our way into a recovery. We can't spend our way out of a recession. If that was all it took, we wouldn't be in one now. I mean, federal spending, government spending's at an all-time record high. And you know, we've been down this road before. In the 1930s, we had what started off and might have ended up as a relatively brief and ordinary and minor recession. It ended up being the worst depression in American history, in part because of flawed government responses by Hoover and Roosevelt, including massive spending. You know, at the end of the day, we got to remember, the government can spend a lot of money, but it's got to come from somewhere. It's either borrowed or taxed away from private productive citizens. To have politicians spend it, they can spend it, but that's not necessarily a net gain.
Well, we heard Barack Obama say today that the only organization, the only institution that has enough clout to manage this problem is the federal government. You disagree?
Yeah, I think it's exactly backwards. The only institution that can make this problem a lot worse is the federal government. And if we launch a massive new spending program, frankly, it is likely to become permanent to one degree or another. We're redistributing wealth. We're not creating incentives to produce more. That's what we could and should be doing. The government could be cutting taxes, lower capital gains taxes, lower taxes on everybody who pays income taxes. That would help bolster the balance sheets of families, of working people and businesses, and it would encourage more work and more investment, more output. You know, at the end of the day, reshuffling the existing money doesn't make a bigger economy, doesn't make us a wealthier country.
You say there are, well, he says, Barack Obama says there are $300 billion worth of tax cuts in this program. You say they are not really tax cuts. How do you mean that? There are some. There are a few tax cuts that are actually quite constructive. For instance, allowing businesses to fully expense capital purchases makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad that's in there. I think it could be a lot more ambitious than it is, but that's constructive. But a big part of the Obama plan is what they call refundable tax credits, and that's a process by which the government sends a check to someone that doesn't pay taxes because they're not required to. That's not a tax cut. You can call it a tax cut, but it's government spending. It's more redistribution. It's not going to encourage growth. Pat Toomey of the Club for Growth, thank you.